Hi, Taurus, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your December 2021 new moon reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. How will Taurus be affected by the December 2021 new moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Excuse me. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. At our root, we have the world. We have the Chariot, which is Cancer energy. If we have Cancer within our natal chart or within our lives, it's going to be coming out very powerfully at our root, meaning these people will have more of an effect on us than even they know, or this part of our personality comes out as a root part of us, like a part of us that we just can't ignore. And then we have the Fool. So the world opens to us. We're learning to trust our hearts more and more and more at this time, and we're beginning a new journey, which is absolutely brilliant for the end of 2021 and the beginning of 2022. This is also the only total solar eclipse that we have in 2021. It amplifies everything, and it's really amplifying our hearts and our passion and the way that we want to move forward. So let's look at our inner self. We have the Six of Cups. We're going to be very nostalgic during this time. And we have the Two of Wands. There's going to be a need here to be nostalgic, to look back, which, I mean, it falls into alignment with the time frame, right? We have the holiday season started. We have ourselves, connecting with our hearts back to the past, back to our traditions, back to kind of the times that shaped us for better or for worse. And we're going to be looking at that, and we're going to be seeing, how do I move forward from here? How do I embrace what I want within my life? How do I, look at what I desire as I'm moving forward? What is my world, and where is it that I want to be? It moves us then to our hearts, which we have the Nine of Swords. We are going to have a tendency during this time to overthink and overanalyze up and down the Mississippi. So do be mindful of this. We can overthink absolutely everything. We can overanalyze absolutely everything. So we need to step back, and that's why we need to step into our hearts and balance our minds with our hearts. We have Virgo energy right here. We have the Hermit. We're turning inward. The walls that we had built up around us, either subconsciously or consciously, to keep us from moving a certain way, they're starting to crumble down, and we're going to see ourselves illuminating. If we give ourselves permission, we're going to see an illumination to the way that we really need to move forward. And that's really going to step forward astrologically in this 18-year period that, hasn't happened for 18 years. So we're going to see this really coming forward here. And we'll get to that in just a moment. We have the Four of Cups. Gifts are coming in. They don't seem like gifts. And it could be also that gifts have come into our lives and they didn't seem like gifts. They felt like added responsibilities. They felt like more that we had to work with and deal with, or they just felt like they didn't feel like gifts. If somebody told you this is a gift, you would have laughed at them and said, are you kidding me? This is so much more work, or this is so much more stress. This is so much more time. So be aware of this here in the public arena. We have the Queen of Pentacles coming in. This is us. We're represented by the Pentacles in the Minor Arcana. We're represented by the Hierophant in the Major Arcana. And we have the Five of Pentacles. So we have wealth, we have growth, we have nourishment with the Queen of Pentacles coming through. We are a beacon of prosperity, which some of us might be laughing, but that's also because we have the Five of Pentacles coming up. This is our poverty mentality. This is a sense of, I can't because of XYZ. I can't because of my past. I can't because of my future. I can't because of my present. I can't because, and it's with the Six of Cups, it's with the Nine of Swords, it's even with the way that we see our world as we're moving forward. This is a time of tremendous purging if we let it happen. This is a time of breaking generational curses, negativity that has built around us for years or decades, and we're going to find ourselves being able to say, but this is what I want. I want this, and I have the power and the determination and the focus to get it during this time. So let's look at the energy we need to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels, oh goodness, and spirit guides. This is Freyelt. Now, this is very interesting because the new moon is in Sagittarius, and Freyelt in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck represents the Temperance, which represents Sagittarius energy. We have to be mindful of this time, of this energy that's around us, of this moon, of everything that it's revealing, every way that we're moving forward. This can be and is a very powerful moon. It's amplified by the solar eclipse. It has astrological aspects in it that are making us look at ourselves and the world in a very different way, in a very powerful way, in a very focused way. And this can be a bit much for us. So this isn't necessarily warning us against a certain person or a certain aspect in our personality, though if we do have Sagittarius within our natal chart, that's coming through astoundingly strongly. What we're going to see here is that we're being told to look, to think, to see, but yet not to force ourselves to change and to grow in a way that we're not ready for, but also to step out of our comfort zone and to embrace the world. And that's going to be a dance. That's going to be a way of moving forward that we can actually feel a bit overwhelmed by, maybe even a little bit uncomfortable with, because we're going to want to do it all at once or not at all. And Spirit's saying here, take your time, step forward into yourself, into what you desire, and step forward into what is powerfully and beautifully you. Don't rush it, but don't ignore it. It moves us to our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Mother Earth. Now, Taurus, this is us. We are ruled by the earth. We are connected to the earth. We are so in line with the earth, more so than almost any other sign. And so this is a time for us to need to connect with the earth. We need to go outside. If we don't go outside, we need to take time to go outside, to breathe in the fresh air, to connect with the earth and what we desire and what we want and what we need, and the healing, beautiful, nurturing energy of the earth, but the chaotic, fearful, frightening, powerful energy of the earth. And this is a time where we need to see it. We need to connect with it. We need to embrace its power. We need to look at our roots and what it is that we desire, because we're holding a bit of the earth, a seed of the earth in our hands in the public arena. And we need to have that connection with the earth to have it grow within us, to have it grow around us. So this new moon is in Sagittarius, and it says here, luck is on your side. Why? Because we're taking aim. Because we're taking aim and all else is clearing away. Because on the 4th of December, we have the new moon in Sagittarius with a full solar eclipse. The only full solar eclipse in 2021. The solar eclipse amplifies the power of the new moon because the moon darkens the sun. And the most important aspect in astrology is the sun conjunct the moon, the sun across from the moon. So this gives us a burst of energy, a burst of intuition and insight and innovation to really break down barriers. This brings us emotional balance, which helps us to see what we want to move forward with, which is actually something that we're having a bit of difficulty within our hearts. We see ourselves wanting to move forward one way, but emotionally we could be so battered, so bruised, so overwhelmed, so scarred, but also so apprehensive. Like, what if my dreams are too big? And it's like, but what if your dreams are just the right size? What if when you start to really have faith in yourself and let those dreams come forward, what if they're actually too small? What if you can go bigger and bigger? Not that it always has to be more and more, but what if this moves us forward in a way that just blows the top off of everything and says the sky's the limit? On this new moon, amplified again by the solar eclipse, it has us seeing the path that we want to move forward in more clearly, which is excellent for us with the end of 2021 and the beginning of 2022. This is a time for a fresh start and a new outlook. We're going to start to see the world differently. The South Lunar Node, is in retrograde in Scorpio during this time for the first time in 18 years, because that is the time it takes for the lunar nodes to go through the zodiac. The South Lunar Node is the place of memories, We feel that very, very powerfully in our inner selves. The memories, they come up. This is a place of memories. This is a place of energy, what is draining us within our lives, our karmic destiny, where we're supposed to be going, how we're supposed to be moving forward. This is also known, the South Lunar Node is known as the tail of the dragon. The North Lunar Node is known as the head of the dragon. So the tail of the dragon, the South Lunar Node, sweeps away the karmic debris within our lives. It has us looking at our karmic theme, right? The ongoing theme within our existence, within ourselves. And it has us looking at what's holding us back. It is also important to say that this is in Scorpio because it is powered by because Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. And the South Lunar Node and the lunar nodes are amplified by Pluto, which is the connection with the soul. Our karmic energy is the intertwined connection with our soul. So this comes forward here. And here we are embracing the reincarnation of our energy to our soul, to our alignment of ourselves, why we're living on this earth, and the expulsion of what we no longer need, the purging of what is holding us back. So this is powerful. This rocks our world. It has us worried. It can be that we start to think about things in just so much vaster terms than we're used to. The new moon is conjunct Mercury. This puts our thinking, communication, and short distance travel into focus. We are alert, we are quick thinking, we are adaptable, and we are curious. We're also very good at buying and selling during this time, negotiations, and being social, just connecting with people. This is a time of power. This is a time of insight for us. Now, we also have the new moon sextile Uranus. Now, this is going to be not so relaxing, not so energetic, not so powerful for us. This can make us nervous, this can make us tense, this can make us anxious because we feel like some big change or some big drama is on the horizon, which it is. It doesn't mean that it has to be big to the outside world. It doesn't mean that it has to shake us in a way that anybody else sees. We feel it ourselves, We can find that it's hard to relax because of this, because we know the winds of change are coming. We can feel it on the wind. There is also going to be a buildup of energy within us that makes us feel anxious and off our game. So we just need to be mindful of that. However, the new moon is also sextile Saturn. Now, this has us grounded. This gives us a grounding influence. It also reduces the anxiety that we feel from Uranus, and it aligns us with caution, with patience, with perseverance, with a strong sense of responsibility, and we are able to set our goals and get them done. But we need to remember to be kind to ourselves if we make mistakes, if we trip along the way, because Saturn is very rigid and thinks you should have just gotten it right the first time, kid. Don't step back, don't slow down, just keep on running forward. And sometimes we need to step into ourselves and not keep on pushing. So that's going to be very important here. Saturn is also squared Uranus. So what this brings that changes that we don't really want. And it brings setbacks because we have the setting energy of Saturn. We have kind of the anxious, chaotic energy, tense energy of Uranus here. Yet it opens our mind and if we are patient with ourselves, with the setbacks that we are seeing, kind of like this makes us see the karmic situation that we have set before us, the karmic setbacks, the things that have been our life theme. This starts coming up because of Saturn squared Uranus. And we need to be open-minded and, again, patient with ourselves, because if we are patient with us and the people around us, if we are flexible of mind and spirit, this can be a time when the challenges that we are facing turn into the opportunities that rid our lives of negativity. The eclipse aspect pattern here is a large learning triangle, and this triangle is made up of, here, Saturn squared Uranus, which brings us the conflict, because it brings things really intensely forward. It's the new moon Quincus Uranus, which brings us striving for a solution, finding that relaxation, finding and calling out the anxiety, being able to see the drama on the horizon. And then it leads us to the harmonizing aspect, the new moon sextile Saturn, which has us seeing getting the job done, has us seeing our goals, what we want, the perseverance, the patience, and the caution. This is a time where we can have profound learning and profound developments within ourselves, within our souls, within what we want. Now, the star aspect of this time is kind of intense. So we start off with the fixed star Alwade, which is in the constellation, which is in the constellation of Draco. Draco is, of course, a dragon, and this Alwade is known by ancient astrologers as the nimbulous star of the dragon's eye. So it's the hazy vision of the dragon. In Arabic, this means who's to be betrayed. So during this time, when we have our doubts and fears coming forward because of Uranus, when we know that there's change here, when we're seeing our karmic situation kind of laid out much more bluntly, much more barely for us with the South Lunar Node, what we're going to find here is that the star aligns us with the power of Mars and Saturn. It makes us bold, but it also makes us cruel and heartless. And it can even go so far as being criminal and violent. So what we have to see here and be mindful of is our emotions, and the fact that the star can cloud our vision and bring forward more of the negativity than we need to see, more of the alignment of what we don't want than the alignment of what we do want. And because we're going to not be able to see things clearly, we're not going to be able to have clear insight into the way that we really want to move forward, we can strike without thinking, without connecting with our inner selves, without first connecting with our hearts. And that's going to be where we get a lot of drama and trauma from during this time. That's going to be when we go off our course. There is also the fixed star Antares. Now, this is a star of the heart that represents the heart in the constellation of Scorpio. Scorpio is important because we have the South Lunar Node entering into Scorpio. Now, the ancient Greeks knew this star as Anti-Aries. So if we're born on the cusp of Aries, this means the rival of Mars, which Aries is ruled by Mars. So if we have that within our natal chart, if we're born on the cusp of Aries, this star can make things confusing for us, because it was known as Anti-Aries because its color mimicked that of Mars, Mars in the sky, which is a fiery red and a green color. So Anti-Aries is of the nature of Mars and of Jupiter, and this is making it commanding and prideful, malevolent, destructive, broad-minded, which is the best thing that we can say about it, rash, headstrong, and once again, destructive. Once again, it makes us feel as if almost we have to rip everything down to build it properly, to move it forward. Now, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So with the new moon in Sagittarius, that Jupiter energy is coming forward. The Aries energy, the Mars energy is coming forward, and it can make us very strict, very quick to act, and kind of think of the consequences later. So just be mindful of this. During this time, with everything that's going on, even though it might not sound like the best time, It actually is. It's opening the world to us. It's saying these are the chains that were holding you back. These are the things that were keeping you from taking aim, from really setting forward the way that you want to, from really looking at the bigger picture of where we want to be, of what we desire, of what it is that we want within our lives. And as the world opens up, we see ourselves more openly, more honestly. We see where it is that we want to stand and where it is that we just don't. We look at things and we can become envious of certain people, but we can become envious. We have to boil it down. Are we envious of their focus? Are we envious of their drive? Are we envious of the beauty that they're able to make out of their natural world? These are going to be things that Spirit is saying to us. Okay, look at that skill. Amplify it within yourself. Don't look at it externally and find it in somebody else and say, oh, I don't like you because of XYZ. Look at ourselves and say, this is where I want to be. This is what I desire within me. And so the world opens and it says, where do I stand within here? How do I move forward to what I want and what I desire and where it is that I need to be? I need to, at this time, follow my heart. And that's going to be it for us, Taurus. It's going to be the bold, brave understanding of our hearts and our passions and our desires, our creativities, our loves, our hates. It's going to be the understanding of our heart. It's going to be the smile that gets to be on our face instead of the frown. It's going to be a sense of, I am driving this chariot, this vehicle of power. In the ancient world, a chariot was only used by the highest of people. It was a status symbol. And so here, when we're moving forward in a chariot, we're moving forward in the status of ourselves, the passion that we desire within our lives, the focus to break down boundaries and to claim our greatness. And it brings us to the Fool. It brings us to moving down a path, to walking a path that others might mock because they don't understand it. But it's not their path. It's not their road. It's ours. It doesn't mean that we quit our jobs and run and join the circus. I mean, if we really want to, go for it, if we are able to uphold our responsibilities. But what it says here is that I need to walk this path for me. If it means kind of going out of the norm of what we think people think, if it means embracing different ideas and different stories and different ways of looking and seeing the world, if it means really starting to stand within ourselves and what we desire and what we want and what we need, that's what we start to do. We start to walk down the path of who we are. Not the expectation of others, not the definition of others, but who we see ourselves as and how we get to move forward in that power. And we remember that every single hero, when they start their journey, is at first and foremost a fool. A person that is laughed at, a person that is mocked, a person who is misunderstood. Until they accomplish what they set out to do, nobody believes in them. And that's something that we forget. We think that people should believe in us. We think that people should understand. And yet people have a small sphere of understanding and belief. Most people don't have the chutzpah to believe in themselves. How can they believe in us? And so here it's being able to connect. It's being able to say, I'm breaking down these barriers and I'm walking in what I desire for me. It brings us to the Six of Cups. Our past is going to come up for better or for worse. So it comes up in the good ways of reminding us of the people who cheered us on or that cheer us on. But if they cheered us on once upon a time, if they are no longer with us in this world, or just no longer in our lives, it doesn't mean that they had to have passed. We can become melancholy. We can think, I was once believed in, but now I'm not. How do I move forward when I'm afraid of the steps that I need to take? Excuse me. And as we're finding our way, as we're looking at what we desire, we can get caught in the once upon a time, in the past that has made us up, but is no longer there. And also this can be the hardships and the pain that we have been through. The person who told us that we couldn't. It could be the parent, it could be the guardian, it could be the lover that we were madly in love with. And they just said, you can't do it. And depending on where we are in our journey, we might still be with that person who doesn't believe in us, who doesn't see our dreams. Do we see our dreams? Are we giving up who we are for somebody else? And why? Sometimes we have to put ourselves on pause. Yes, that's important. Usually when we have children, well, not always when we have children, but when sacrifices need to be made and bills need to be paid and a roof needs to be over the head, things need to be done. But here, there's a sense of how much more do I have to give up? And how far do I have to walk before I get to be happy? And we're starting to hold the world in our hand. And we're starting to see the way that we need to move forward. And it's like, I get to matter here. I get to be a part of this world. I get to have joy and laughter and prosperity and brilliance within my life. I get to open up the door and just move towards something more. And as I do so, I connect with me. The Two of Wands is a greater expanse. It could be also that our world was very small. And we can argue very reasonably that the world has become in many ways smaller, just through communication, but also through what's happening within the world right now. Things have become more closed. How do we move forward in what we want, in what we're connecting with, in what we desire within our world? How do we open up the door to say, I can have a world that is made up of maybe 50 people, that we see throughout our town, that we connect with within our lives, like throughout our whole entire lives, but that it still feels rich and big and wonderful. We still feel connected and beautiful. How do we move forward? What does that look like for us? Does it have to be going to far off places, or is it something quieter, something smaller? But there needs to be, that's what Spirit is saying here, there needs to be a sense of adventure. And it doesn't matter if it's just walking out our door. There needs to be a sense of adventure and beauty. And that's what we're worried about. It's like, is it all gone? How do I move forward? How do I embrace? How do I desire? How do I, go after what I want? How do I embrace the adventure of love and of passion and of creativity and of brilliance and of, letting myself shine? We have the repeat of the number 8. Our hearts are almost at the end of a cycle. It's a cycle of the mind. It's a cycle of connection. It's a cycle of breaking down walls and barriers and being able to move forward, being able to say there's more here than you could ever know. And the 9 of swords is that fear, that doubt that comes through first, that says, oh no, you can't possibly. You can't possibly embrace what you want. You can't possibly move forward the way that you need to. And the Hermit, the 9 of the major arcana, is saying, look within. Look within and let the fire shine bright. Embrace the flexibility of mind. Embrace the determination of soul. Let yourself be. Because all of a sudden, as we do, the gifts that come in that didn't feel like gifts, we're starting to become more aware of them. We're starting to become aware of the way that we need to move forward, of what it is that we desire within our lives, of what has been holding us back, but also what we have been breaking down. Those gifts that didn't feel like gifts, now that we look back, it's like, oh, that was forging me, that was shaping me, that's part of my karmic destiny and the thing that I had to realize. And as we see this in the public arena, it comes through as wealth, okay? Because it comes through as breaking down the walls of poverty. And it doesn't mean that we ever had to have been poor or ever had to have struggled with money. I actually hope that each and every one of us have always been prosperous, because struggling with money is terrible. It is terrible and it is terrifying. We are moving forward here as the Queen of Pentacles. But we have something here, which is either money or something we value as much as money, that has been hard for us to achieve, that has been a struggle and a plight and a blight within our life. And what we're going to see here is that all of a sudden there's growth. All of a sudden there's passion and there's insight and there's a sense of I can break down barriers. I can move forward in a way that is astounding. I can become more than I ever realized. And we're looking at the poverty mentality. We're looking and embracing this emotional awareness, this emotional scar that has held us back for too long, that we have been victim to, and that we have been facing time and time again within our lives. Whether we were told when we were little, there's not enough money for that, don't be so selfish. And then a lover said to us, oh my gosh, you want to go to that restaurant? Are you kidding me? And then it was just reiterated and reiterated and reiterated. And it made us feel like we asked for too much. A queen never asks for too much. A queen is given the world and then more. And so that is what we're embracing here. The world and then more. Not all at once. Not having everybody fall to their feet before us. Fall to their knees before us. What it is that we're learning how to stand in power, in prosperity, in bounty, in calling forward what we want from life, not apologizing for our existence, not hiding away in the corner. This is a time where we're breaking a generational curse, when we're breaking a past life, pattern that we've been living time and time again, when we say, I don't know where this came from, but I don't know how to get rid of it. And so let's see what the moon has to say for herself. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. At our root, we have the new moon eclipse, which is brilliant. It says expect powerful change. Self-reflection. And it all comes during this time through self-reflection. Don't let pride get in the way. Focus. Pride is I can, but pride is also I can't. A personal issue reaches resolution, beauty, because there is beauty within us. There's the beauty to heal. There is the beauty to move forward. It's time to release negativity, which is what this time is all about. And the path is made clear. So here we expect powerful change, the new moon eclipse. Now, yes, this is talking about a new moon eclipse, but this is the new moon with a solar eclipse, with an eclipse. So here is the power of this new moon coming forward. It brings us a reflection of ourselves. It has us seeing ourselves moving forward time and time again, the reflection of our face, the way that we need to embrace ourselves, what we need to see, what we desire. And it says, don't let pride get in the way. It's the pride of I can, but it's also the pride that I can't, because it's saying I know more than spirit knows. I know more than destiny has in store for me. So focus. Focus on the opening of your third eye. Focus on the passion and the power that moves you forward. Focus. Because a personal issue reaches resolution. There's a healing that comes over us. And my gosh, Taurus, is it beautiful? Is it beautiful, and is it natural, and is it just an exquisite part of us that we have been missing for way too long? It's time to release the negativity. It just is. We've held onto it. It's molded us. It's shaped us. It's guided our words. It's guided our image of ourselves. It's time to release it. And as we release it, the path is made clear. The ascension into the stars, into the heavens, into the vast unknown of who we are and who we could be and what we desire from our lives. It's time to be miraculous. It's time to believe in ourselves and in the power of the Godhead within us. It moves us to our subconscious Luna message, which is the South Node, which is so important here. Don't let your past hold you back. Change. Because if we don't let our past hold us back, it changes everything. We are changing the course of our moons and our stars and ourselves by seeing ourselves and embracing what we desire. By looking at our karmic pattern and our karmic purpose. It brings us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of, and it's the moon. It is the moon within the sky. It is the lack of the moon. It is the subconscious and conscious not coming together. It's saying we want one thing and yet being terrified of it inside. Or longing for something inside and not realizing it in our waking world. We need balance. We need harmony. And first and foremost, we need to look at our fears and say, you don't get to rule me. I am not my parents. I am not my teachers. I am not my partner. I am not my past loves. I am who I was born to be. which is a mystery unfolding every single day. I am wise, I am beautiful, and I am so much more than even I know. It moves us to our subconscious chakra energy, and that's soul's healing. That's the soul star chakra located 6 inches above our crown. It's the healing that gets to be a part of us. It's the fact that something bigger is at work here than we know. It brings us to our subconscious rooted self, the Wheel of Fortune. We can feel like this time is a crazy roller coaster ride. The highs, the lows, lefts, rights. Oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? Everything changes. We are changing. What we are after this new moon, what we are at the end of this time, is so much greater than what we ever thought we could be. And it brings us to our subconscious inner self, and that's the Magician. As above, so below. As we believe it, so it becomes. Taurus, our mind is extraordinary. What we focus on during this time, the doubts and the fears, the chaos and the hurt, we will manifest it. The love, the joy, the brilliance and the laughter, the prosperity, we will manifest it. What are we focusing on? What are the elemental gifts, the very essence of ourselves that we are calling forward? Is it to suffer, or is it to rejoice? It brings us to our subconscious emotional self, which is the Two of Wands. Just like we have in the public arena, in our inner selves, we have in our emotional selves. We're looking at the horizon. We're looking beyond. We're looking at the future. We're looking at our present, and we're seeing how we can move forward to the place that we long to be. It brings us to our subconscious public arena self, and it's the Eight of Swords. If we get too much in our own heads, we have that warning with the Nine of Swords. If we get too much in our own heads, if we overthink, if we overanalyze, we will be stopped. We will tie ourselves up in chains and be like Marley in A Christmas Carol, walking around, weighed down and weighed down and weighed down, until we can't move forward, until we can't imagine a time when it was joyous and easy. Don't do that. We all know people who live their lives in the Eight of Swords. Don't be that person. All right, Taurus, that was powerful. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy, as we embrace the power and the prosperity of this new moon. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Taurus, and may you have a blessed moon.